What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classic Con blog. Out with a late one. It's late. I know we should all be in bed. Some of us are late nighters, right? So, in the community section, I said, "Listen, some late night Hightower versus Targaryen madness," and I meant that because I love watching that show because it's so relatable to business. But right now we're on Wartime CEO series number 9. Listen, I don't know what number we're on. I just put 9 up there. Selling the Dream versus Welcome to the Light, Carol Ann. Come to the light, Carol Ann. Right? I don't know if y'all remember Poltergeist movies, but for real, that's how they were, right? Why folks are still traveling. Okay. I got like 3 or 4 bullet points, and I'm gonna try to get to them as fast as possible. Definitely drop your city and state in the chat. Now, listen, when you watch House of the Dragon, just like you watch Game of Thrones before, you have characters who get wrapped up in their identity. I love the queen who never was. I love her. She is the queen. She was a queen. She was a better queen than everybody there. But when people want to play the game, now what is the game? They want to what's the word I'm looking for? They want to be able to control people. And that is Otto Hightower's whole thing. Now, here's the problem with the whole Otto Hightower plan. You have to know who's on your team. Who's on your team? Do they know what their role is? Right? Does this young person that you have put on the throne know they're just there to shut up and do what you want them to do? Right? Does Christian Cole know he's not supposed to be in this space? He's supposed to be somewhere guarding a door. He's not a thinker. He's an emotion feeling person, right? So if you haven't watched TV show, you might not know what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, these are simple principles that work in every part of life. Right now, people are complaining, why are so many people traveling? Where are they getting the money to travel? Very simply, travel isn't expensive. Travel isn't expensive, okay? And a lot of people think it is. Hold on, I gotta fix my hat now. Hate touching my hat while I'm on there. Okay. Travel isn't as expensive as we make it out to be. People are like, oh my God, it must be costing these people an arm and a leg to travel. They got 3, 4 kids. It must cost us much. The average influencer you're seeing, it's just them. It's one person, or it's them and a spouse, or it's them and a friend. And so the costs are not that high. Right now, I just wrote this down because I meant to tell y'all this in the community wall. Travel companies and hotels and airlines have spent $6.79 billion in 2023 in the form of the categories of advertisement, as far as online influencers, you name it, all that stuff falls under advertising. So imagine travel companies are spending over $6.79 billion. You're gonna see people traveling. You're going to see it in your face. It's going to be on your TikTok feed. It's going to be on your Instagram feed. It's going to be in your face nonstop. Why is that? Because they've spent billions of dollars. Sorry, it's driving me crazy. I'm back inside now. They spent billions of dollars. Florida, Disneyland, as much as we want to complain about Disneyland spends a lot of money sending parents who record themselves coming to Disneyland. Target, Walmart spends a lot of money on just videos these families can produce. There's one family, I love watching them because the kids are cute, but mommy bloggers started a lot of this. Showing what they had, showing what they're feeding the kids, the beautiful kitchen in the background. Again, as of recent, you've seen the van life people start going into cabins and buying a piece of land. And what happens is people are like, oh, they're selling people a dream. And I'm like, no. First of all, they know who's on their team, right? They know their role, okay? And they're buying back their time via something they were going to do anyway. They were going to post that they were riding and doing van life anyway. They were going to post that they took their kids to Target anyway. Now they just monetized it a little bit more systematically. And over the years, as you see, the people get more systemized, right? All right? A little bit better, a little bit different, a little bit more, right? So what happens is success is a sum total of your life. People aren't watching these people because they think they're successful, but success is a sum total of your life. Ben, they always talk about fat people, but Ben Mall is fat as hell and he's almost a billionaire. Well, but he looks nasty. He does this, he does that. Man, dude works out. You see, he does videos where he works out. Does he spend 4 to 7 hours a day working out and taking steroids? No, he does not. And some of your favorite influencers, that's literally what they're doing all day. There's a gym I go to. There are girls who come in there and set up cameras. They be in there for 2 hours. I'll leave, drive back by. They still up in there. But again, how do you make your money? Number one, how do you make your money? Start now. Sell now. That's what they're doing. They're selling now. Okay. So here's the thing about the word selling the dream and why I hate this. Selling the dream, or what they call smoking mirrors, is smoking mirrors. What happens is people don't want to be honest with themselves. If they have financial problems, they don't want to listen to Dave Ramsey. They don't. They want to aspire to what they can do if they get their money together. Right? It's the sugar and the salt. Right? If mama comes in and says, "Oh, you're such a good baby," and daddy comes in and say, "But you need to wipe your nose, it's snotty, there's crust in your eyes. Did you wash your face today, son?" Mom's like, "But I love you, baby." Daddy was needed there. Okay. And so a lot of people are complaining that people are selling them the dream, but that's the thing. People are done by motivation. I say it's come to the light, Carol Ann. Why do I say it's come to the light, Carol Ann? Because half these people out here, if everybody in your family works at the call center in the local town, guess what you're probably going to do by 90% of the way? Work at the local call center in town. Even if we send these kids to college for 4 years, they go to college, they're surrounded by people, they're surrounded by career options, they're surrounded by choices. They will pick up and go back to their hometown for cheap rent. Right now, there is a friend of our family. Her son just got an accounting degree. And he said, "Oh my God, rent is so high. And I haven't got a job yet. I might come back to the town." I literally said, "Give me your son's number." There's no reason why he's leaving Charlotte when there are a bajillion companies that need accountants. He can get a job tomorrow, somewhere entry level, and he can afford an apartment. This is where you have to tell people they need to do the hard thing. But lack of exposure is where people fall back into hometown living. Again, I've told people this story countless times. We have a cousin who has an engineering degree. Again, there's like 3 or 4 guys at most in our family who did not go into the military. And out of those 3 or 4, they are some horror stories. One's in jail. Okay. One is 400 pounds with an engineering degree and won't work for the past 7 years. Another one is like finally got a really great job paying $40 an hour. And the fourth is, I can't even describe it right now. And so when people default from the setting of, "Hey, let's get you some structure, let's get you some discipline, let's get you in the military. And when you come out, you got a car, you got a VA loan, you can do whatever you want. They'll pay for the school." When people deviate from the plan and you aren't acknowledging who's on your team, you have family issues. Again, when I'm talking about House of the Dragon, Otto up here with this master plan that he clearly, he could beat it into his daughter, but she really won't sold on it, right? Because if she was sold on it, she would have made sure her son was a decent, have figured out some of this stuff, but he was never positioned for leadership and he knew it, right? So he's trying to sell himself on, "I'm the king. I'm the king." Sir, that's not your role. Your role is to hush. Your role is to be quiet and just sit here because you're not even supposed to be in this chair, right? We done propped you up here. Even his brother's like, "I'm the one who studied maps. I'm the one who's researched. I'm the one who has a dragon. Why is this idiot on the throne?" Right? So a lot of times what happens is people think people are selling a dream, but really what they're doing is trying to get you to come to the light. Do you know your role on the team? If I have to sit here and be your taskmaster where I tell you what to do every day, what I did is make myself a manager. I mean, if I got to sit here and tell you play by play by play what you need to be doing every single day, I didn't free myself. I didn't gain an employee. I gained a taskmaster. Like I just became a taskmaster to tell you every 2 minutes what you need to be doing. No. I remember I worked a job and this guy came and asked like 3 times, some instructions. And the girl said, "Where I'm from, if you ask me more than 3 times, that you're fired." And I laughed, but it stuck with me for years. If I've explained to you the job, I've demonstrated the job. I've seen this is what you need to do. And at the end of the week, you need to just give me reports. Hey, let's not overcomplicate this. Let's not make this difficult. Okay. Now, okay, prime example, Miami, Atlanta. You've seen a lot of people move to Miami and Atlanta, and people are like, why are people moving to Miami and Atlanta? They can't even afford to be there. Imitation. Look at suburbs. You'll go in a neighborhood and somebody will have a blue house, very, like a blue or gray, blue gray. And then everybody all of a sudden you'll see 4 or 5 more houses with blue or gray. People are natural imitators, right? Is this where the crowd's going? I'll go there too, right? If you see the millennial trend where everybody had these very bland kitchens, gray, what we call gray kitchens, right? These very what do we call that color scheme? It's like the modern farmhouse and everything's white. I forgot what it's called, but essentially, when you started seeing all these people with these color schemes, you're like, why is everybody doing that? And it's because imitation, monkey see, monkey do. So that in those cases, people are selling the dream because that person hasn't came to the light. The goal is not to have similar houses. The goal is to have the financial wherewithal to change your kitchen over if you want, change your backyard if you want, right? So when people say, why are these people moving to Atlanta and Miami? They're hoping the relocation of being in Miami, Atlanta will immerse them in what other people are doing. And that's not coming to the light, but people do it all the time. It is what it is. Same thing when people in the 60s and 70s made all this massive moves to California. And now they're trying to leave California. People are like, oh, they're going back home. No, they're not. Their home is California. They've been there since 50 plus years ago. This is their home. They're leaving to where their original ancestors or grandparents live because they don't know. People don't believe me. Look at all the people that have been flocking to Middle Tennessee. Look at all the people flocking to Charleston, South Carolina. Look at all the people flocking to places. And what these places have in common is the older generation that is dying off, leaving these massive houses, that are leaving these massive 5, 6, 10 acre houses, and their children can't afford the taxes. They're leaving these old mansion looking ran down houses. The kids don't have any money to put money back into it. They're leaving farms because nobody wants to put 50K of their own hard blood work and sweat into the farm. These people from California are having the reverse gold rush. These people from Chicago, these people from New York, these people from Connecticut are coming to these places because why? They've seen the light, Carol Ann. They can go somewhere else, live lower costs, and just manage their budget, manage their assets. That's it. They're managing assets. Now, who's not managing assets? If someone's just trying to run to the middle of nowhere, like there's been several videos I've seen where people are like, I moved to Manassas, Virginia. My rent's $400. Baby, you're just trying to escape. You're in poverty. You know what I'm saying? That's different. That's not. You didn't move there for a job. Okay. You moved there to escape poverty. You don't want to be homeless in California or Las Vegas. So you're now at a $400 place, which is fine. That's also fine. That is a choice. Okay. So how do we distinguish between selling the dream versus someone came to the light? Okay. When you talk about people are still traveling, Erica, how are they affording to do so? 9 times out of 10, if you actually break down the cost of a lot of people's travel, it's like $300 round trip. $300 round trip. What's the cost of the hotel? Now, when these people go out of the country, right? Much lower cost of hotel, maybe 50, 60, 70, 80 a night hotels, depending on the place, of course, depending on place, parts of Mexico, parts of the Caribbean, Panama, different places. It's cheap. So you're talking about $50 a night, which would be a Roach Motel in the United States, some places. $50 a night overseas in another country, it looks like this person's balling. And you're not really doing the cost, right? When you come to the light, you find the math. Okay, so I can live in an apartment that faces the water in Miami for this much. Okay, boom, cool, right? Okay, so then they're right now, how much does it cost? Okay, boom, cost, boom. Exactly, Jill. Prime example. She got to my point before I got to it. People are buying these tickets months in advance. If I buy a ticket to my hometown, I think it's 6 weeks in advance? The ticket's $175 round trip. If I wait a day shy of 6 weeks, it's $300. I'm like, what? The same route, same trip. But guess what? The average person isn't planning their life. They're just waking up and winging the thing every day. Right. And then if somebody dies, oh my God, they got to jump in a car and they got to drive 20 hours to a family member's funeral because they don't have enough money to fly. I just heard a horrible story today of someone our family knows. The father, who's in his 80s, is paying for his son's funeral because his son, who's 47 and married to a woman and they both work, have no insurance. So to stop the embarrassment of the family putting out a GoFundMe and their kids being, oh my God, we can't even afford to bury our daddy, and they're in their 20s, the grandfather is digging through his retirement monies and burying his son at 47. I want y'all to understand that the cost of not waking up and not going, I need to have this as a safety measure for my family. By 47, the argument of not having some type of burial insurance should be like over. We don't even have $40 on a cheap policy. We don't even have like $30 going to a scam company. You know, them little scammy companies where the dude be knocking on the doors of the old people. We don't have that. Some bare bones stuff. But this is the same people that if I look back on his Facebook, they was out there Carnival cruising last year. They were Carnival cruising the year before that. Those are all payment plans. Okay. And so this is where people get frustrated talking about selling the dream because people are not being honest about how much this costs. That's why I'm very, like when I did my trip to Panama, and there's been several companies trying hard to get me to do other trips. And again, Belize, there's a company messaged me about Dominican Republic. There's all these different companies messaging me to do more trips. My thing is, I don't want it to be a fog or a mystery to you. Even with Zanzibar, there's a company trying to get me to go out there. There are, you can buy into stuff in Zanzibar for $30K. And that's it. Cash money. Okay. And not only that, you can use banks in parts of Panama, Belize. You can use regular USA banks. They will put money on it. But if no one ever exposes you to that information, you stay in your small town, which is nothing wrong with that. I like small towns. I want to have a farm someday here. That's not tied to my family, but they wear some. I want you to understand, if no one ever exposes you to how much stuff costs, you will think every little white kid you see online is rich. When you go to college and your kids are like, the other students there are not stressed at all about money because their family has already did this rodeo before. They know those costs. They're not stressed. Right? So when I see kids who are 19, 20, who are showing these YouTube channels where they're starting clothing companies, they have e-commerce stores, they got Shopify stores, they got warehouses. There's 9 million videos on this internet of kids who are 20 to 27 with warehouses. There's one girl who's half black, half Mexican. She has a lip gloss company. I forgot her name, but you guys have probably seen her everywhere. She made so much money at 16, she employed the whole family. She was buying box trucks for grandpa and them to drive to drop off this lip balm. She making stuff. She's got a different warehouse now. She done bought herself a home here in Texas. Okay. And they're like, oh, well, where'd she get this money from at 19? Because you didn't watch the previous 5 years. The previous 5 years where they were filling up their mama and daddy's house full of stuff. Then they were filling up the garage. Then they had to move to another shop. And then they're buying box trucks. And then they're just shipping stuff. Again, the power, which a lot of people aren't exposed to, the true power is not you going to go work for Amazon warehouse, right? Not that. It's you being able to have the warehouse. It's you being able to ship the stuff yourself and have employees. But see, we have people shying from responsibility. And they think they will always have the choice to go gallivant and live in La La Land. And again, how can you do that? How can you really enjoy living in La La Land, right? To be honest, how can you do that, right? How can people exactly. Every time I have to pay more, I'll be mad. They have, because guess what? They cannot refinance them properties. They can't refinance them hotels. And he been telling you in the videos, he done sold his very expensive car and some other stuff. Let me see if I can find this clip for y'all real quick. That threw me off. Sorry. Hold on. See if I can find it. Because y'all may have been seeing this young man who's been saying Amazon stole money from him. And I was like, because you had all this stuff and then you sent it away. Does that make any sense to hold on, let me see if I find it. I'm gonna show you one or two more things too while I'm at it. I hope y'all don't hear all that baby face in the background. Get my copyright strike. Okay, dang it. Oh no, I might not have it. Hold on, let me see if I find it one more time. I hate that. I hate that for you. Let me see. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on one more time. Let me see. But again, all this to say it's energy, resources, and focus. But I have 4 that I'm gonna tell you about. Hold on a second. Can I find it? Oh no. Okay, I found it. Okay. Let me see if I can get it up here on the screen for y'all. All right, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Sorry for the delay. Oh, here.
And as a small business, that is insurmountable. Like, I can't come back from that.
Can y'all hear that?
So now I have to file for bankruptcy. I have to bankrupt my business, a business I started 3 years ago, over 3 years ago, during COVID, when the world was at its roughest. I was so proud to be able to create something, and now I have to shut it down. So what happened? Well, I created a board game. It's called Disparity Trap. It's a social justice board game. It's basically like, like the board games we grew up on. Your goal is to go around the board, accrue wealth by hitting all these milestones.
Okay, some of y'all are saying it's low, so I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. TikTok be tripping. It don't be like Instagram. The disrespect. It's okay. It's okay. Long story short, he was talking about a board game, social justice warrior board game, right? No problem, right? And long story short, he got this order of board games and immediately sent it to Amazon fulfillment. Okay. Now, what's the problem with that? I told y'all this multiple times. Everybody who's ever in business knows Amazon is out to make Amazon money. And so if you send your stuff to Amazon, they're going to sit on it. Not only that, they're going to charge you $5,000 for the deposit. Then they're going to charge you monthly for it staying there. Q4, they're going to charge you more. Anybody who knows anything or has studied, right, knows you need to keep a percentage of inventory on your person at all time. And you just send a little bit of inventory to Amazon. You don't send all your inventory to Amazon. And then when they decide to lock your account with $100,000 in it, when they sit there and lock up all your inventory, and then 9 times out of 10, when they ship it to you, it's damaged. They ship it back to you. They don't have no respect. But when people don't learn the lesson that all this stuff is a business, right? You're coming to the light of, oh, people making money off Amazon fulfillment. I don't have to be responsible for anything. I just have to send it over there and I can have passive income forever. Everybody who studies business for longer than 2 minutes knows Amazon steals your stuff. And if it ain't Amazon, it's other sellers. Like I go on Amazon now with the Helium app and I just literally look for products that I can private label all the time. And it just be copying the copier, right? Unless you can come up with your own individual ideal. Why? Because, honey, it is a part of the game. It's a part of the game, right? And he should have done direct to consumer. But what happens is people hear, well, I just toss up on Amazon and people going to see it. I don't have to market it. That's what they really hear. They don't have to market it. And you can get it there fast, 2-day prime. If I have Amazon fulfillment, no, get your lazy A up and print the labels and ship it. You're not that busy. If you spend all this money crafting a a game coming home from work, which sucks, to ship 1 or 2 a day isn't going to break you until it gets really big and really fast, right? And so what happens is, unfortunately, people heard, oh, Amazon FBA, I don't have to do anything. I just send over there, fulfillment. This is how the warehouses make money. This is why you see so many warehouses. They're just storing stuff because no one wants to be in charge anymore, right? They don't want to be in charge and own their own warehouse anymore. And this is where people are like, I just need time to think of my own ideals, Erica. Again, this is where you hire people. And that's why right now, one of the biggest things you're seeing is all these fast food restaurants and chain restaurants, not the individual stuff, not the unique stuff. The chain restaurants are falling because people are like, well, why would I go there? There's nothing unique about that. There ain't nothing. Why would I waste my time at Hooters when I can get chicken wings from Buffalo Pluckers, Buffalo Wild Wings, wherever, right? The dining out thing is slowly dying. And now you have these people online crying about their server and they're not making any money. And it's like, because it was time for you to get on out of there. It was time for you to go be a plumber, Jeff, but you wanted to be a bartender. It was time for you to go ahead and get the roofing degree with the sun outside. It was already time for you to go to be a welder, right? The careers overlap. Some stuff are passions, and that's fine. You love shaking up drinks. You love making burgers and food and cooking for your family. I love that for you. Unless you're going to do a real life chefing, the chain places, the Texas Roadhouses, all that stuff. No, you're not going to be there your whole life. Right? And that's, nobody wants to hear that part. I know. But look at these chefs in their home, in their houses, recording YouTube videos and selling plates. Come on. There you go. Biggie said it, okay? Now, I got 2 more to show you. And part of why I'm showing it to you is, again, many people are going to say, Erica, but what about resources? And I get it. I get really good calls from y'all. I hear you. I understand. Yes, white label is fire. And I'll probably do a whole thing later this year on that. But Wartime CEO, you'll see it. Let me see if I got this. The proof, we're working on it right now. Oh no, you can't see it. Oh no. Let me see if I do it like this. The filter's so strong. Got it. Anyway, we're working on the proof right now for stuff, but there's so much. But anyway, let me go. But when you ask about resources, the thing I say is 4 things you have to know. 4 things you have to write this down. If you don't write nothing else down, I'll say, and I know it's late and I'm not going to be here much longer. Energy, focus, money, time. And you have to do like a little Venn diagram for yourself. You know what I mean? But again, it's energy, focus, time, money. You only got so much time every day. Some of you only got so much money. Some of you only have so much focus. If you know you're not a multifaceted or multi-talented person, focus on one thing really, really hard. Every day, give it 4 hours a day. That's part of my withdrawal here, my sabbatical on here. Every day, I'm checking on 2 employees who do a task for me every day. Like, how far are we in it? Did we get that done? Is that checked off? It's like a checklist. We're literally just doing checklists every day, just to give it absolute focus for the summer on top of another project. But if you don't have anybody in your company, like, there are going to be days you don't feel like it. There's going to be days you don't have energy. There's going to be days you don't have focus. But guess what? If you have a staff member hired to do so, that's their job, to focus on it, because that's where their paycheck comes from. All right. And this is why people, I don't want to hire people right now. I'm in the grind mode. Baby, you'll grind yourself to stone. You better hire somebody and give them a little bit of $500,000 a week. You think there are moms out here who are like, I just need a little bit of something, and, trying to say that in the most appropriate way. Also, again, this one petty moment here, I have to show you. This is why you have to know who's on your team. Okay. You have to know who's on your team. You have to know your role, and you can't get outside yourself. Now, I'm going to show this. Y'all going to be like, Erica, you being petty, but I got to show it. Oh, Lord. Okay. So this one right here. Married football coach fatally shot by his side chick's boyfriend. At 12:50 a.m. on a Monday, this coach, who had like 8 kids with his wife, he's been a coach for like 30 years, Great legacy. Ended because he was over his baby, a side chick's house, and her boyfriend came home and shot him, and he's dead. Wife of 24 years, she good people, because that's a lot of kids. She basically was like, he was a good father. He was a good man. Listen, that insurance check is paying good money. You know, I know when you are a high school football coach, they make sure you have insurance, because they also put insurance on you. They put insurance on you too. Okay. So you over here somewhere you don't need to be. You're not knowing your role. And guess what happens when you don't know your role? You get caught up in places you shouldn't be. You're doing activities you shouldn't be doing. Now, this is your legacy. Now, everybody can talk about, man, Coach Willard was great, man. He was married to my mom for 25 years. He was blah, blah, blah. Sir, what is it when people remember the coach? What's going to be his legacy? Okay. Know your role. Be in your place. Don't be out of place. Don't be out of place. And when you know your role, when you know what your strengths are and your weaknesses are, if you know, you need to know who you are. You need to know your role. Right? I know that sounds very terrible. But everybody's got to know it. Okay. So let me see if I can pull this up for y'all. Let me see if I can pull this up for y'all. Dang it. See if I can pull it up. I can't. Oh, okay. So I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Dale said more than 40% of their people, when they got offered them a promotion and more money, they turned it down to stay home. Just so y'all understand there. Okay. All right. That's just want to make sure y'all get that. Over some mess. You know what I'm saying? Caught up in nonsense. Sorry to hear that. Congratulations, Jeff. Something. You too comfortable with multiple children at home and married 24 years to be at somebody else's house at 1:00 in the morning. You're already where you're not supposed to be, baby. That's a flag on the play for me. All right, so let me show you this. I got a couple more and I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay. Realtors complain about wholesalers, but still don't market and show value to the demographic that sell through wholesalers. I want to hit on this so bad. I want to hit on this so many times. And there's a reason nobody's commenting, because there's a lot of wholesalers watching page. Realtors, your job isn't to show me houses. It isn't. Your job is to come up with solutions. Your job is to show grandma how better it is for her to sell with you and have this house listed than take 30 grand in a fast check when her house is worth 100,000. And if y'all could hear some of the stories I get from my realtor in Detroit, where he talks about all the times people will call him after their grandparents, or, hey, they signed this contract. And he said, why are they doing this when the house is worth 150? Oh, they need the money now. He said, but wouldn't you rather have 150, 120, 100 than 30? See, y'all doing too much in the comments. I can't, Jen. I can't. I'm going to read it though. That was a private coaching services taken to a new level. You know, unfortunately, coaches have a bad rep because there's so many single moms and women who, oh, thank you for coaching my baby. And they lonely, let's just go there. So crime of passion. Yeah, probably. What comes in darkness. Yeah. And the wife was probably knowing what was going on, but was able to live like, look, like, I know what you're doing, but I ain't going to call it out. Now it's in front of everybody's face, and that's embarrassing for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Mamas love coaches. It's weird. I wouldn't let anybody I know be a coach. We have one cousin who's a coach, and he's like, them women be in his face. He'd be like, ugh, get up. I don't want that. A wife. Yeah, they do. They do have bad representatives, just like preachers. It's unfortunate. So, but yeah, part of this, why am I saying this? Realtors don't realize their job isn't to show me houses. It isn't to be on Instagram flashing. It is to give me data. It is to convince grandma not to sell her house to wholesalers. It is to convince your uncle not to sell, right? But Miss Jill, every day of the week and twice on Sunday. She just thought he was smart enough to not be at a crazy person's house who could have a boyfriend that would shoot her up. She know what he was doing. She can play stupid like, I just didn't know. Ma'am, you knew. Right? There's a viral thing going on, right? This woman has 2 kids. Like, she didn't have any kids for 15 years of her marriage. And her husband basically bought her 2 disabled kids back to the house for her to raise because the moms died. Moms are basically crackheads. Okay. Now she know her husband was out in them streets, but this lady's on the internet pretending she's very happy to have these special needs children because she's knowing her role. She ain't gonna leave this man. You've been doing this for years, right? Come on, rule 101. Don't bring home no diseases. Don't bring home no kids, especially not one autistic kid that isn't verbal. And then he brought home another autistic kid that's just got slight issues. You have to realize when people go to, it's unfortunate, but this is part of the thing. When you have, unfortunately, when you have people who are in not great health and the moms are on drugs and they may be going to doctors, right? Some lower end communities get bad batches of vaccines. They've already proved. CDC already wrote an article on it. They said it's unfortunate. They're checking it. They're making sure it doesn't happen again, right? But to bring home 2 sets of kids with special needs, where the money at for that? You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Yes, she knew there are rules, even to the nurse game, for sure. Who goes to the woman's house? AI Tech, who goes to the woman's house? And it's clear she has a man that comes by there at any time of the night or day. If he got a key to the place, baby, I don't need to be there. And at 12:50 a.m. in the morning, I can't explain why after midnight I'm at your house. Ain't no rhyme or reason. I don't even care if we both fully clothed sitting on the couch. So, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much. Gotta bear him. Come on. Come on, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So let me show the next one real quick. Sorry, I know, and I got sidetracked talking about that crazy situation. Not this. Not this. Not this. Not this. I love that, but not this. Okay. Home prices reach record highs as sales stagnate in the triangle. The continuing population bloom in the triangle is creating a lot of competition in the market. Why? Why? Because people who've lived in Raleigh since freaking 2002, when you could buy a whole house for 80,000, are now sitting here like, the houses are 380, 350. I remember back in North Carolina, you could get an acre of land and a 125K house. Yeah, you still get that. You're going to be driving an hour outside of the city. Like, these people really aren't paying attention. No matter the city, state I pick and put on and show y'all, they not paying attention. They're not paying attention. Okay? Why are you here after midnight at anybody's house that you're married 24 years? Why are you at my woman's house? Her son had an issue at the game. Baby, there's no reason. There's no reason. Y'all know that's the truth. Y'all know I'm just telling you. Let me see the other one post I was going to show y'all. Let me go to it. Right here. When people are like, New York is so great because we have so much services, and we have services, Erica, and you live in Texas, and Texas don't have no services. And see the good services I have in New York and these liberal places, we got services. If y'all see how many times I get arguments on Instagram about people talking about y'all raggedy services, and you ain't getting those services, you're taxed to the eyeballs for it. Prime example, 11.9 billion has been taken. Okay. Has been delivered for the NWC. 225 million for the Queen's Cop City. What is the Cop City? The Cop City is what they did in Iraq, where the military would make mock cities and they would go through breaking them and raiding them. Let me tell you something. Nothing good comes out of making a mock city where cops pretend to kick in doors and act like it's Hurricane Katrina time. Nothing good comes out of that. And the list of everywhere these cities are, Charlotte, all over the United States, where they're training these cops in these basically martial law scenarios. Baby, get ready because it's about to get wild out here. Okay. 150 million for student protest crackdowns. 100 million cut from schools. 65 million cut from nurses. 58 million cut from libraries. 55 million cut from parks. 26 million cut from museums. 5.3 cut from AIDS and HIV programs. But yet they will look you dead in your face and say New York's the best place ever because they have all these programs. Mm-hmm. So again, when I sit here and tell you, come to the light, Carol Ann, decide now. Don't let it be forced on you, right? Don't let it be forced on you that this is the new way of doing things. And you're like, wait a minute. Oh, nobody told me. Nobody told me about the new way of doing things. This is why I do YouTube. When people say, well, I posted under the video of one of these dating shows, I guess Smash or Pass or something crazy. And I said, why are grown adults doing this? And everybody in the comments like, same way you do YouTube for entertainment. I said, no, baby, I don't do entertainment. And Man of Tomorrow did a funny title. He said, what's up with these slave auction dating shows? I put that in the comments, boy, people got away from me. They didn't want to give me no more smack after that. Because it's just funny. It's what's the difference of this in dating apps? If you think this is like a dating app, you're a mouth breather. We should basically let you not reproduce with anybody. That's scary. Okay. It's getting a little crazy out here, y'all. A little bit crazy. Okay. Yeah, those days are crazy. Like you have to move in the hoods of South Carolina. You have to move to the rural areas. Oh, honey, that's been going on. It's been going on. They've been creating these and people been reading about them and telling it, and people are mad. People are very mad. But yeah, they've been building these all over the United States and taking it from your tax dollars, not to improve the schools, not to pay teachers more, not to improve the living standards, but to make cop cities so they can practice kicking indoors and taking people out of their houses. Huh, interesting. Okay. Now this is the video. I show this one because it would play. Hold on. Oh dang it might not play. Long story short, he goes, oh, let me take it off and come back. Hold on. Let me see if it'll play now. Disrespectful. Okay, long story short, there it is. It's playing. Okay. Yeah, slave auction. It's ridiculous. So look at the cereals that they're putting in the store. After Ices, Fruity Pebbles, this stuff is gonna kill kids. This is diabetes, y'all. These companies ought to be ashamed putting this stuff out. You can't go over Europe and get this stuff. There's actually a guy on Instagram that makes a lot of money. He's Mr. Snacks. I may be saying it wrong, but he basically gets snacks from overseas delivered to his house in bulk, warehouse style, wholesale style. And he puts together boxes and you can just order stuff from his website, combinations you want, and he ships it to you. And people buy it. And people say, why are people buying snacks from this man? Because 9 times out of 10, the snacks from overseas are healthier and have less ingredients. I used to get a box delivered every month. I had to cut it because it was too much. And it was sending me candies from Japan and Korea. And it was delicious. I never had any problems with it. My stomach was never upset. But if you take me to the store and I get a almond joy right now, my stomach will be like, girl, are you crazy? What is in this almond joy? Right? It's a box of sugar. Straight poison. There's a lot of people who are going to a carnivore diet. I've tried it, a mixture of it. I'm not full. Let's eat steak every day. My body was like, no, girl, we ain't built for that. We getting older now. But a combination of it, and I feel a lot better on top of some great supplements I've been taking. So again, at the end of the day, like, you are your business, right? How you just demonstrate yourself, how your body looks. I've heard people say all kind of crazy stuff that they wouldn't do business with somebody because they were fat or they were this. And I was like, do they got information or not? They ain't got it. Okay. If they do, come on. Okay, that's it. That's all I have for those. But let me just reiterate the last and I'm gonna get out of here because I didn't realize I was gonna go over 30 minutes. Yeah, I mean it's sick. It's really only adults buying it. You should not be feeding your child that. They're sugar bombing their children before they go to school and they can't figure out why the teacher's frustrated. So long story short, let me just go here. Okay, the money's in the follow up. Hire a person that every day has to show up when you don't want to. Just the honest truth of it. But remember, your employees will mimic what you do. Even in this remote space, people still mimic what you do, mimic your speed and your pace. Okay, so again, focus. What are your resources? You need hyper focus, energy, focus, money, time. If you can only focus on one business ideal, only do that. A lot of y'all come in like, Erica, you doing it? I'm like, no, don't look at what I'm doing. Okay. Don't. And don't look at somebody who's 10 years in what they're doing. Let them tell you how they started and how they focus. For a long time, YouTube was it. I was just YouTube. And then we built out a brand and a business around that. From the money from that, then we can invest in new construction. Then we can invest in rentals. Then we can invest in this or that. But it's still, even with my losses, I've learned you got to have somebody on team who's focused and that's their job. Right? A lot of people I know get stuck at $250,000 a year and they're like, I'm balling. Everybody in my family make 50. I'm making 250. And I'm like, you could make 100. You could make a meal. You could make half a meal if you actually paid somebody who was going to be on it all the time. And that's why I keep sharing in the community section the starter stories and different things like that. You have to understand your energy and your what do you call it? Willpower will fade. Same with kids. People be like, I'm gonna potty train this kid in the weekend. Who willpower gonna give first? You or the kid? Let's keep it a buck, right? So what happens is you have to understand your willpower and your conviction and your confidence will fade. And this is where people can make money. And I'm not trying to be in a disrespectful way, but this is why I hold conferences. This is why I hold meetings. This is why I go to conferences, because you forget what is the goal of us doing this. So we ain't got to work in an office with some Karen who's going to get on our nerves. And then I can't see my mom. I can't fly home whenever I want. I can't schedule life. A lot of people who are in business cry that, oh, business entrepreneurship is so it's unstable, it's unsecure, it's no security. No, you're unstable, you're unsecure. You do not have the discipline to get it right together. If you write on a sheet of paper, every quarter we fly on this vacation. The rest of the year we're going to do A, B, and C. We're going to go to this many conferences a year. We're going to go to this many music concerts a year. Stick to that schedule, because it would be what you would do as if you're an employee 9 to 5. And just remember, not 90% of people are still on an employee schedule. When the girls are online talking about soft living and low stress jobs, I laugh, because when I go to Whole Foods at 10 in the morning and the moms are in there just gallivanting around, walking around, just living their best life, it's absolutely different than an hour and 30 minutes later at lunchtime when people are rushing, running in to get food and doing all this stuff. It's a certain type of, so many people are trained in that rat race mentality. Not to be disrespectful, but use it to your advantage. This is why a lot of these moms, when they go home to be stay-at-home moms, they're bored and they get part-time jobs because their husband's like, well, if we need some more money. This is where you're gonna be able to pick up a lot of these moms who are willing to get, extra 500 a month, extra 1,000 a month, extra 2,000 a month, and they're doing all this extra work for you, right? So again, you need to figure out, who can you hire, and what is the one thing you can double down in very hard, right? When I talk so much about these warehouses and e-com and all that stuff like that, if you got a kid who every day is watching the numbers in the inventory, you got a kid in the warehouse who's boxing every day, that's their life. And they're okay with that as long as they get a paycheck every Friday, right? That allows you to free up and you have more freedom of time. So, it is what it is. Again, that's why, I went online last year and I didn't realize all these, I'm gonna just say it, white kids hate crock pot meals. And I'm like, that's because your mom can't cook. If she didn't put no seasoning in the crock pot meal, that's on her. Crock pot meals aren't bad. Crock pot meals are usually busy parents who throw some stuff together in the crock pot. And then everybody goes to work at the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's all these white boys on like, not the crock pot meals. And I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. But I noticed it's only the white boys saying it. So I'm like, no, that's a seasoning issue. That's not the crock pot's fault. Because crock pots be lit. Crock pot chicken be lit. Chicken dumpling be lit. I don't know what's going on at your house. Okay. But you have to understand, use those resources to schedule yourself appropriately. And this is why folks are still traveling, because once they figure out it only costs X amount of dollars and they can schedule it in the future, You know what I'm saying? They hate them because they were boiled and despair. They were nasty. That's what I'm saying. It just their mom didn't know how to cook. They don't sear the meat. Oh yeah, you got to sear the meat first for sure. If not, it's just boiled meat. It's not good. Pretty much at this rate with the cereal, the way to make it. Yep, just like any other career, get better at one thing, then branch out. Yeah, you just gotta really hammer down on one or two things, you guys. And once you do, and once you systemize it and you see it, it just rolls. It just rolls downhill. Um, but that's what I have for y'all today. Selling the dream versus welcome to the light, Carolyn. Our goal is to bring people to the light, buy back our time. Start now. You know what I mean? Do you know who's on your team? Who's on your team? If you don't have anybody on your team, then you need some people on your team, even if you just get some VAs. So anyway, this is your girl Erica, Classy Con Blog. Thank y'all so much for being here. Definitely hit the like button after this. You guys are awesome, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.